There's an industry certification like the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval that is emerging, that we are going to get 100% of all of our tracks certified as having been created by humans, and we're going to put that up on our website proudly.
I've never heard of that. This certification. This is the first I've ever heard of that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, there are a couple of them, and we really believe in this. And these are things that are being supported by major people in the industry.
Welcome to the Epic Score podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Shadid. For my interview this week, I had an opportunity to chat with Adam Taylor, who is the president and CEO of APM Music. APM is Epic Score's distributor in the United States and Canada, and they're a very large player in the production music world. APM's parent companies are a collaboration between Sony and Universal, so they have quite a bit of reach in the world of music licensing. Adam has been leading the charge for APM Music since 2001, so he has a fantastic perspective on the music licensing industry and how it's been adapting into this world of new technology. I hope you enjoy our chat, and I'll see you here next week. My guest today is Adam Taylor from APM Music. He's the president and CEO of APM. Welcome, Adam. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
So APM has been my distributor for Epic Score since the beginning in 2006. And Adam actually fought quite hard for Epic Score when I was deciding how it was going to be distributed. You had to sort of go and negotiate some things with the higher ups, and it wasn't really guaranteed that it was going to happen. And then you pushed for it, so I thank you for that. So,
you're very welcome. I had to make sure I liked you. It's the music. The reality is the music is great, and it has remained great, and it has done very well. And we wanted to have it, and we also knew that we could do justice to it. And both of those things are really important to us. We don't like to have music that we can't do justice to.
Absolutely. The one thing I feel that APM has done over the years is keep adapting to the marketplace. That's the important thing, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. One thing we've learned is that the market's always changing. So when I got here, there was a lot of local television stuff, local radio stuff, pretty good pricing, and then that changed, and there was a lot of competition, and people were doing kind of sync-free deals and other kind of things that we didn't like, and we decided to get out of it. It just wasn't worth it. Then, new market opportunities always come up. In those days, cable was really had come into its own to some degree, but then there was this real explosion of additional cable channels, all of whom needed at least promo music in the beginning, even if they weren't broadcasting their own programming. And then the successful ones went into broadcasting their own programming, and we were well placed to move into that. So cable became a very, very large area for us. We've grown tremendously in sports over the years. Streaming platforms as those things have come up, and a lot of interactive stuff and apps. And so I think the key for any company is to understand what the market is, make sure you have a product market fit, and figure out what you need to do to get that business. So that's what we've been able to do.
Yeah, I look through the reports that we get over the years, and I've seen hockey stadiums and stuff, where on the billboard, Epic Score has been used on the big, hype up reels and stuff. It's cool to see all these crazy uses, that have popped up over the year. Everybody goes, oh, trailer music. So you think just a film trailer, but
No.
Really that music has a wide appeal in terms of, it could be hockey, it could be basketball, it could be a film trailer, it could be, sometimes I think one time we got licensed into some film trailer, it was parody. It was like some animation or something. That's the one thing that was amazing to me about APM Music, was that you had contracts with everyone, back in the day. And I don't think that's really changed necessarily. So what are some of the challenges these days with the deals? I know I get emails from you going, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? I mean, where do you see the world going in that regard with the way the licensing deals are working with some of these larger entities?
I think that they're really opportunities. The market continues to grow. Some areas shrink, some grow. Overall, there is an explosion, and has been an explosion of production of music, of programming in so many different places, and we just keep on responding to that. Some of it is international, some of it is not, some of it's cross territory, some of it's not. So we have a kind of a limited set of suppliers like yourself, and we are and composers we work with directly also, and we have really good relationships with them, and so everybody has everybody's best interest at heart. And one of the unique things about the library business, I tell my friends about this all the time, that we could be represented by somebody in a territory and a competitor in another territory, right? So we're all frenemies, and we all come to the production music conference in LA in October, and I'm going off in April to the IPMG, the International Production Music Conference, which is the European version of the PMA. And I'll know everybody there, even though there are libraries I don't work with, and they know us. So it's just one of these things that people work together to try to do what's best for the industry overall. It doesn't mean that we don't compete with each other. We do, but it isn't a cutthroat business. It's a creative enterprise where the music that we have, it's one of the lines I say about APM when anybody asks me what in the world I do and what differentiates our music from, say, commercially released music is that it's music for storytelling. We
Right.
empower storytelling. It's music that is, for the most part, written in service of the moving image. And so you talk about Epic Score, which was designed as a trailer library, but again, as you said, it has use in trailers and promos. You didn't mention, but use in corporate videos, and to really promote anything. It's music for strong moments in storytelling, and it helps to tell a story. And one thing I want to just, a lot of people ask, why don't they just use music from the film in the trailer? And what I've explained is that the purpose of a trailer is different than purpose of a movie. A movie is to watch it. The trailer is to get you to watch it. And so you need dramatic moments in a shortened time frame. So the emotions during that time have to be heightened. There isn't the time to take you through the long arc of a film. And so trailer music, if well designed and well edited into a trailer or a promo. You edited promos for a long time. That's what empowers the storytelling in the short form, but it also has use in long form as well, as you know.
Yeah, when I'm working with composers that work with Epic Score, I'm very clear. We're trying to tell a story, and it's a multi-little part story, and it's got to build from one section to the next. We're trying to convey something. If this track isn't telling a story, I ain't taking it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I learned early on with Epic Score that I felt like a lot of people wanted the big action sound, even if it wasn't a huge production. And that lended itself to Epic Score having an audience from pretty early on. And I had never really been in the trailer industry like that. I mean, it was still even, it wasn't that old at that point. So I don't think everybody knew everything about it, but you started seeing quickly like, oh gosh, people use this quite a lot. So it was really cool to be involved and be a part of that process.
Well, yeah, and I think that the library was an important part of it, and hence the name Epic Score. It has the name is there for a reason, and I think that it accurately reflects what the music is. But also, trailer music in general really had an impact on music overall. And so that if you go back to, before trailer music became a big thing, and before trailers became a big thing, you didn't hear that kind of music, that kind of
Right.
approach to storytelling. And I've watched a lot of older movies in my years, and I don't if I watch an old black and white movie, I don't see the actual trailer for it, but there are reels on YouTube and things that you can see, and different kind of reels for old films, and they're nothing like the way that the storytelling is today. And I think also that because the quality and level of energy in the video component of a trailer or promo has been so enhanced by technology over the many years, the music had no choice but to follow suit. You couldn't have just a kind of a flat track underneath, or even a regular orchestral track that is the typical film kind of approach to storytelling that wasn't going to work in one of these bigger bombastic trailers. And so I think
Yeah.
it all kind of developed together, in my opinion.
A couple of years ago, we had that Drake license through APM. And that opened my eyes to a whole world of sampling that, sure, I'd heard of sampling, but talking to Adam Weitz, the sales guy, who I think spearheaded that,
Yeah, and he heads up that division for us.
he was, talking about how APM had to learn that business too, because the licenses kept coming in. And so by the time it happened with Drake, the deal seemed really honed. And that was a pretty wild experience. I got invited to the BMI Hip Hop and Rap Music Awards late last year.
Hmm.
And as a result of being the original publisher on that. And so, what an eye-opening experience over the span of a couple of years. And can you talk about how APM pursues non-traditional licensing things that wouldn't, strike you as like, oh, library gets used for that?
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. Going back to the older days of library music, particularly in the heyday of some of the great KPM composers like Keith Mansfield, Alan Hawkshaw, David Snell, Brian Bennett. Extraordinary music, really, and it helped define the sound of television particularly in the UK, but also over here to some degree, for something like 30 years. And that music is pretty extraordinary. It's all live instruments. It's no synth, and really, really high quality. And that stuff has ended up in a lot of those albums, those LPs, which we used to ship everything in, ended up in recycle bins. And you can go to any of the vintage record stores, and they often have a library section. And you can see some of them. Some of these albums are quite rare. You can go on eBay and find ones for hundreds of dollars. And so these things became a kind of crate digger's paradise, and people started to utilize these as samples, particularly as hip hop and rap grew, and which is obviously very dependent upon and built a lot on from sampling of other material. I'm not a hip hop or rap expert by any means, but I know that they have a particular love of trying to breathe new life into things and create something new, utilizing pieces of things that they have been able to assemble together. It's a brilliant art. And so, on the hip hop side and rap side, this goes back to Nas and Tupac, who sampled our works, and it's continued to go on and on and on. And the Drake one is one example. Kendrick Lamar's latest hit, I guess it's now about a year and a half ago, Peekaboo, is our track. And he sang it at the Super Bowl. We have 2 tracks on the most recent Black Keys album. We just did a deal with SZA for 2 tracks. We have an Eminem track. And so it's pretty amazing content. And there are literally thousands of samples of our tracks that have been commercially released. And so we're constantly doing this part of the business. We're chasing after ones where they didn't have a license and working that out so that the original artist, composer, can make sure to be compensated what they're due. And we are embedded with Adam Weitz, particularly, is embedded with a lot of the producers who are doing this kind of work, and has been able to develop an incredible pipeline of things. And so a lot of that was focused on the archival music. And we have a lot of archival music. We're probably the largest supplier of archival music out there. For synchronization, I'm sure we're the largest in the library business, and with archival music from all over the world. And we have an incredible Italian collection, and German, and French, English, and United States, and other places. So all of that combined has meant that we are a kind of crate digger's paradise, and people look and contact us, and we do these licenses. And the great thing is that the composer or the estates of the composer are able to participate in this. What's so interesting about your track is it's not an archival track. And so somebody found it and loved it and really understood what they could do with it. And it's we have a lot of great contemporary music that is great for sampling. It doesn't get used as much as the archival music. And there's just something about the archival sound I think that people really like. But kudos to you and your music for getting sampled by Drake. It's great, and it's it has such life creatively and economically, obviously.
What are other non-traditional forms of licensing that people don't think about?
Well, I think I have to look at it over time, where people didn't really think about for example, library music in video games. And we feel that we pioneered that. Rob Cairns in our office, who handles all of our video game business, really helped to pioneer that. And about 20 some odd years ago, you were involved in that, and you were at some of those parties and other things. And we created a library called Endgame that had music from great video game composers that has since morphed a little bit into a sports library, as you know. But they did really well, and we became really embedded in the video game world. And there are, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of video games that we have music in. So that wasn't something necessarily that was thought of as something that was going to be good for library music. So that's one example. And another would be in today's world, people develop apps and they want to offer to their users the opportunity to utilize music. Obviously, social media platforms are one, and we have deals with Meta and YouTube and TikTok and everybody, and billions of videos on those platforms with our music, and our music available for people to add on the UGC side to be able to add. And so it really has exploded out. Who had ever thought that we would have, I don't know, there must be tens, if not hundreds of billions of videos that contain our music in it. It's pretty extraordinary, you know. Another example would be Roblox. We're very proud of our deal with Roblox. We love them. They're amazing. Such an incredible company and what they've been able to build. And so we have a lot of our music in that platform. And they have something, I may be getting my numbers wrong, but something like 4 million game developers who utilize that platform or who register to do so. And there are millions of games in there. And some of those contain our music. A lot of them do, I think, and hope. And some of them have gone viral. And then that music gets interesting to other people who then utilize it in other productions that they are doing. Another thing that is interesting is when our music gets onto a social media platform, the virality of that, the viral nature or viral potential of those things. I'll give you an example. And this ties in with the archival, actually. There was a track that a British composer, David Snell, wrote in the 1960s, and it is in the Bruton Music Library, owned by Universal, that we represent here. And it's called Tomfoolery. And it's a wonderful track. And we licensed it into SpongeBob. Over the many years, we did a lot of the music for SpongeBob. And so a few years ago, a 20-year-old kid in Virginia, I think he is in, took the clip and took the track out, sped the track up, did a remix on it, put it back into the video, and put it up on TikTok. There are now about 8 million videos on TikTok with that remix.
Wow.
So working with Universal, we did a deal with this gentleman. He goes by the name of Dante 9K. So he gets something for the work that he did, and because he did a great job. If you go onto YouTube and just type in SpongeBob Tomfoolery, you will hear the track, and I am telling you that everybody knows the track. Everybody knows it. And so, you know, to have something come like that where you've taken something from so long ago and resuscitated it like that is just extraordinary. So these are the kind of markets we chase after. We're always looking at new opportunities. I don't want to tell you what's next because I don't want to give away my secrets, but new stuff is coming,
enough.
believe me.
Yeah, I bet. You know, it's worth mentioning, maybe an oldie but goodie that maybe a lot of people don't realize, but an APM music track that was for Monday Night Football. You want to talk about that one?
Sure. So the track is called Heavy Action. It was written by the great British composer and band member Johnny Pearson, and who wrote a lot of library stuff and also was well known for many, many other things in England at that time. And it was written as a what we used to call industrial purpose, industrial track, or an industrial library, which really means corporate music. And he had no idea, obviously, that there was even going to ever be a show called Monday Night Football. And they had another theme the first year, and I guess they didn't like the theme, I don't know. And somebody heard this track and said this would be a great theme for this show. This was on ABC. Now the show has moved to ESPN, of course, but it was for many, many years on ABC, and they started using it. I believe that they commissioned a new recording. I forget offhand the name of the person who recorded. I did meet with him in our offices. His first name was Ed, and I just don't remember his last name. Sorry, Ed. And I'll try to look it up later so you can put it in the notes surrounding the podcast. I want to do justice to him because the new recording helped to really propel the use of that track. And ABC used it for years. And then the show moved over to ESPN. And we have a very close relationship with ESPN. And every year we do a new recording. And we for them a big recording we did at Abbey Road and other places. And over the last few years, it's been very interesting. We did a recording of the Monday Night Football theme, combining it with the sound of with The Simpsons. This past year with Monsters Inc. theme, which I think is a Randy Newman track, and so that was really interesting work. So this track has a life of its own. It's very popular on social media, and it is the most well-known and iconic sports theme in the United States. And it was written as a library track. Who knew, right?
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
A couple minutes ago, you were talking about the PMA, the Production Music Association, and you've been heavily involved in that. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. So, Production Music Association, founded in the mid 1990s, before I came to APM, which was in 2001. The library industry at that time was much smaller, and I imagine that its mandate and scope was much smaller, but there was a need to really try to have the role of production music and programming be articulated to people, obviously not only to get additional licensing, but to make sure that library music was getting its due in from the various performing rights organizations. And this was based in the United States and was focused on the United States. And when I joined in 2001, I was asked to come onto the board because APM was one of the major players, which I did, and I served on the board for a long time. A number of years later, frankly, don't remember how long ago, I was asked to be the vice chair. I guess I was elected to be the vice chair or something. And I did that for a number of years and then eventually was elected to be the chair. And I've been the chair now for quite a number of years. I just got reelected last month, I think it is. And so I'm happy to serve. And over the years, we really have morphed the PMA into, it's the industry organization. And our mission has three components to it. We promote the value of library music and the perception of value of library music. And we educate and we create community. Those are the three purposes. And on the community side, we do the monthly kind of coffee hours where members can Zoom in, and we have various some of the board members and other people. We sometimes will bring in a guest person, and it's really to give the opportunity for composers and publishers who want to be or are in the library space to get to know each other, to be able to voice concerns, to hear about things that we need to know about so that we can address them as an organization. And it's been very, very helpful. And we do that every month. Then in October, we don't do one because we have the production music conference. And this was something that was started over 10 years ago. I forget the exact number of years, and started off very small. And we actually used to do a meeting in Las Vegas at NAB, the NAB conference for years when everybody used to go to that. And that was my first exposure to this. And that happened for a few years. And then at one point, I remember David Israelite from the NMPA was speaking, and we had 250 people there. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. That people are taking time out of their day, and 250 people are here to see what we're presenting and everything. And at some point, somebody suggested that we do our own conference or something. And so we decided to do it. We did it. First one was at a hotel in Culver City, And I don't remember exactly how many people we had, maybe 50, 75 people or something. And it grew over the years. We've had a few different executive directors, and there was Deborah Chrisman and Hunter Williams, who had been at CSAC and then went on to do other things, and Morgan McKnight for the last 10 years. And she just decided to move on to other things. And we have now Lisa Dene, who's fantastic and helping us run the thing. And we do the Production Music Conference in October. It's in Los Angeles. And we get between 800 and 1,000 people now. It's an enormous thing of great, great benefit. We have amazing panels on all kinds of subjects, from AI to publishing to all kinds of other legal things and creative things. We have amazing guest speakers, and we have some gatherings and parties. We also have the Mark Awards, which are the official awards of the industry, named after Andy Mark, who was one of the early library owners and who sadly passed away a number of years ago. This is named in honor of him. And it's amazing to see that we're getting so many people and so many year after year after year, and that people are getting so much benefit out of it. So that's really what the goal of the Production Music Association is. I know many composers who have come to the show and ended up with deals.
I was there in October for this past one. And, actually I think the first time it was one of the big hotels or whatever in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually on a panel. I was actually on the panel, like one of those first ones, and that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we did it at the Lowe's for years on Highland,
Yes.
Hollywood and Highland. And so it was there for a long time. We moved because we outgrew it. And then we went to a hotel downtown, I think for 1 year, 1 or 2 years, I don't remember. And I think 1 year regularly, and then another year during COVID that we managed to pull it off. And then we decided to move it back over here. And we've been at Universal City for 3 years, 1 year at the Sheraton, now at the Hilton for 2 years. The upcoming one in October is also at the Hilton. So we like it. It's worked out. It's convenient for everybody and reasonably priced. And it seems to have really worked out. Anybody interested, we really encourage everybody to come. It's not expensive. And you can look it up on pmamusic.com and you'll see the information, and hopefully people will register and come and get something out of it.
My final question for you is the future. There's all kinds of crazy technologies. When you get out of bed in the morning and you think, all right, I'm sailing APM down this way, what are the challenges? What do you see in the future?
Let me go get my crystal ball, and so I'm going to bring it over here, and then I'm going to tell you.
Can I borrow it?
I can license it to you.
Oh, you can license it under a blanket deal?
One-time use, needle drop, man.
Ooh, APM doing the tough deals.
For every question you ask, it's a token, and you have to pay. Obviously, nobody knows where the future is heading. However, what I do believe very deeply, and hopefully I'm not wrong about this, but I think that the best music is going to continue to be produced and created by songwriters and composers who use all the tools that are available to them, including AI. I just think that that's how it's going to go. And it doesn't mean that there isn't going to be good music created by AI systems. I think that there is a backlash in the creative community about this. We have had major clients to us who have asked us or insisted that we put into our agreements, our blanket agreements with them, that we don't have any AI generated music. We just closed one, it was yesterday, no, this morning, a big one where that's in there. And so, and we don't have any AI generated music. Our log line is human created, human curated. It's on our website, and you can see it. And so we're using AI for music discovery, like prompt searches and similarity searches and things, and some music modification, alteration, but we are not creating new copyrights. Not that you can create a new copyright with AI generative tools, but we are not creating new works. And we are trying to make the use of the music as flexible as possible for editors and others who need to operate very, very quickly to make sure that they can find the music that they need and adapt it to their need as quickly as possible. But the source of the creative inspiration for that work is a human being. And we don't accept AI generative music, and our clients are insisting on that. I'm part of a number of large industry efforts about human created certification. We are working now on getting there's an industry certification like the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval that is emerging, that we are going to get 100% of all of our tracks certified as having been created by humans, and we're going to put that up on our website proudly.
I've never heard of that. That's this certification. This is the first I've ever heard of that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, there are a couple of them, and we really believe in this. And these are things that are being supported by major people in the industry, and not only individuals, but by companies who are large consumers of music in their programming. So this is a very important thing. It's not a bunch of people just wishing something would happen. This is almost coming from the top down in a way. And so that's very encouraging. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We have an incredible network of libraries who supply us with incredible music like you do with Epic Score. And we are going to work with people we trust, people that we know are not creating AI generative, and are continuing to give the opportunity for composers to have their own voice. Finding composers who have their own voice, have something new to say, have something different to say, and working with them to make sure that that gets its way into the track. And not only from the composition side, but from the recording, from the mixing, from the mastering. And then, the stuff that you need to do after that, which is the tagging and the descriptions, the metadata that is equally as important. And
I do it all by hand, Adam.
And truthfully, I know you're laughing, but it shows. We have had some libraries that tried to do some AI tagging, and a little bit of it works well, but generally it really doesn't so far. Doesn't mean it won't. But there's a personality to it as well. You have a feeling for where your music should be used and what it should be tagged with and how it should be used. And we want to make sure that people can find the music. We have close to 1.5 million recordings, and with new music coming in every day, and it doesn't pay to have all of this music unless somebody can find it. So we want to do everything that we can to make sure that people can find it and then be able to use it efficiently. So that's the kind of the entire ecosystem of this thing, and to be able to do it for a price that is affordable, and we feel we're affordable. Not the cheapest, but we are affordable, easy to work with, and we have I think, a really strong set of value propositions so that we can elevate the quality of the productions that our customers are producing. And that's really what we're here for.
Well, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. Great to see you.
My pleasure. Happy to do it, and good to see you. We have to do a podcast in order to get to see each other, right?
I still haven't seen the new offices yet.
Well, you moved out of LA, it's your fault.
I know.
It's like, but next time you're here, maybe if you come in for the PMC, if you have extra time, come over. I'm usually at the hotel the entire week, but anyway, we'd love to have you over whenever it's convenient. And we love the new space. It's exciting. It's near LACMA. The museum just is opening now, and with the new building, and it's very exciting to be in that area. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So everything is good.
Awesome. Well, good to see you, and thanks again.
My pleasure.